All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. So I'm cool as a cucumber once again, and both my legs are more bilateral than they've ever been in a while. My right side still is a little tighter than my left, so I'm not sure where this is all going to lead. Could lead to need for surgery, but like now I can get the surgery done. But when I lay down and I tried to sleep, my back tightened up and I couldn't sleep. It wasn't as bad as Amarillo, but it has memories of Amarillo. I would wake up in the middle of the night screaming. I mean, these people know this was happening, and they still operated for another 4 years. So I'm thinking, well, Satan's actually in my head at this point because I'm thinking, okay, so was everything just my imagination? Not everything, of course, because they took the stuff out of my apartment. These things were done to me, and I know that for sure. But some of the other stuff, some of the seeing, but it just came up in my mind a little bit, and something was a spiritual thing was speaking, and it was like, "Da-da-da-da-da." Well, I don't remember what it was, but take like 5 steps, and it goes, "See," like after I had that thought, like some people say your mind plays tricks on you, but no, it was weird. So I still have that intuition and all of that. Right. So what's happening is when you're injured, when they do this to me, Satan is there to torment me, right? And then I'm not connected to God. Even though like I said the other day, even though it's a physical thing, there's a metaphysical process in it. Well, a lot of spirits have been stopping by, and there's one that's here that says she she really liked me, but I don't know who it's somebody that's dead. So I don't know who it is, and it supposedly wasn't from my childhood. 'Cause I was thinking was it one of my childhood friends, 'cause I ain't had too many good people in my adulthood. I think my wife even hated me. So, my right side that whole thing with the vertigo last year, my right side tightened up so much it was messing with the crystals in my ears. Now I'm hoping that doesn't mean that it's an additional disc or something. It could still be from the lower back. It shoots a it tries to adjust your back because it thinks you're falling, so it cinches you up, but I don't know, I have to get them to look at it. I should have been able to think about additional treatment somewhere in there, and I did. I looked up massage, but I couldn't get past that initial block to actually get it done. Just too damaged from what they did before. Again, they're constantly operating day in and day out, just keeping that stress on there. So again, they crunched me. How they did it, I can't imagine. I've probably been crunched for a little while, but I was able to uncrunch it and started getting, looking up doctors and stuff. Like right now, I'm starting to crunch. So what it is, if I go to my neck, those those that the bands of, which means there might be a disc issue in the neck, but the bands of tissue tightens up, and again, they're triggering panic attacks, so that could cause a lot of things also. And I haven't had massages in years. And again, one muscle pulling one way out of alignment can cause another muscle to react to pull the other way. So when I start massaging those tissues, my back releases and then everything calms down and I'm cool as a cucumber. But again, they knew what they were doing. That was their goal. They caused it. So the temperature right now is actually warmer, or actually cooler than it's going to be at midnight. So at midnight, it's going to start warm. It's not going to drop at all. This is like the peak temperature of the day, like 41, 40, 41. I think. I think at midnight it's going to be 42. then it's gonna climb into the 50s tomorrow. So the Lord is blessing, and, sometimes, like, even just finding out that I need surgery is a blessing, if it'll work. This is not Amarillo. In Amarillo, my entire lower body was just locked up, and my left leg was just about dead. So if I had found the right, I'm finding, like, I'm telling the massage therapist how to massage right now. I'm actually, something showing me right here, and then it releases. I should have seen this for 4 years. Like right now, I probably would have went through with the surgery, but I was so pinged, and again, you can't think past anything when they're doing that. So they keep you all tightened up, and then you're no good at repairing yourself. So again, if I sit down or I lay down, I start tightening up. So that most likely is the lower vertebrae. So it's either a fusion or ablation. At this point, the devil was just there in Amarillo because I was so sick I couldn't even think straight. When you don't have a wife to help you think through things, it's very difficult, right, when you're really sick. So I was like, maybe. One day I just said, I'm getting out of bed and walking, and started broadcasting. Otherwise, I probably have been even worse dead. My legs aren't perfectly bilateral, but it's not like Amarillo. I was like limping on one leg, and I was sick to the stomach, and I couldn't even do physical therapy. And then I was supposed to go to my brother's, and they got in the middle of that. Like, if I'd have got up to my brother's and at least stayed in his, the idea was to stay in his basement for at least 6 months, I'd have got somewhere. So again, he initially agreed that we were going to do that, and then the same thing with the surgery. I don't think like my brother. If he doesn't want to do the surgery, then I don't do the surgery. If he's involved, like coming and helping me. Again, it's kind of bogus, but it's the way the world's wired. So last night, the curses were horrible too. So because I don't have money, and I don't have an apartment with a bathtub, because if I had money, I'd be out of this apartment. I'd be in an apartment with a bathtub, even if I lived in the same complex. And they do cut me a break. I didn't notice it because they were blocking me from moving in. As soon as I found an apartment, and I got to see it, I was like, yeah, that's it. And I never noticed that it didn't have a bathtub, and it only had a shower. So I have a vinyl bathtub, and I set that thing up, and I got glued to my bed too long, and the water turned cold. And so it kept running, ran out of hot water. So I paid all that money for nothing. So I may have been able to sleep better if I had taken that bath last night. And I actually I used too much magnesium earlier. My legs were like a little bit weak. So what you do if you use too much magnesium, you take calcium. You take a couple calcium Tums, and that counters it. They counter each other. And then as soon as I took the Tums, whoop, I think within 10 minutes I was back. Nah, okay, so I'm going the ablation surgery, or it's just, they're gonna do the test to see if it'll work. And I'm a chiropractor who's killing me. There's no reason I was in chiropractor. So he tells me that he wouldn't use that doctor that I was using, and he may have been my answer the whole time. And then I moved on to another doctor that was supposedly better, and he didn't seem that interested. He did like one shot in my back, and he recommended against surgery. So, and it was weird. Like I said, I don't even know if this is real or role players. I went in to see that doctor, and there was a guy sitting there in a wheelchair, and he had done surgery, and they ended up crippling him. That's like a few and far between. But again, that whole Right, so see, my life is anti-wired. Right. Well, I had a pretty good surgeon online. I actually had a really good surgeon, and he wouldn't do it for some reason. I guess 'cause I was out of town or something, and I wasn't in their network or something like that. Right. It wasn't money issue, that's for sure. Maybe he didn't like my Medicare, but I mean, I get 100% paid. I can't complain, and they shouldn't complain. Blue Cross Blue Shield will cover it, right, whatever's not paid. But maybe he didn't know my insurance was that good. Who knows? Because most people don't have the federal Blue Cross that as a supplemental to Medicare. I pay a good chunk of change, but they'll cover everything, just about, within reason. Even though they screwed me years ago, but I won't say those 3 words. I don't know about the woman. The 3 words aren't a threat, right? But the "you're next" is a threat, I think. Right. I was looking at that. I said, if she just said the 3 words, I don't think they can do anything. Thank you, friend. So what's happening is my right side of my body is crunching, and my left side, crunches every so often. It's just, re- so I have to stop that tug of war if I can. Of course, probably fusing the lower spine will do it. And again, I've tried to explain it to my brother because he goes, "It doesn't always work." I said, "Yeah, but if there's no other option, you can't live a life like that." Right. 100%. And I knew I wanted to, like, live a better life, like massage and all that, and just stay healthy, but you can't when they're doing this to you. I mean, so they put me out of massage. There's a whole bunch of other shit they did to me in Santa Fe after that. It isn't like, oh, they want me to move on. I mean, I'm the only guy that really cares about their people on the street, the way that I do. And again, I would send messages to Santa Fe PD, hey, it's gonna get cold tonight. Make sure we're out there, getting these people in the shelter, stuff like that on social media. Right. So I was an engaged member of the community helping out everywhere. When they did that thing at Massage Envy, they pretty much sealed my next 10 years of shit. So I'm not sure where I am. I wish, I had a woman that came in to massage me, but she was elderly and wasn't strong enough. And I was trying to get somebody to come into the apartment from some online thing, and I just couldn't get to it. Again, they're willing me down. That part still exists. Right? The metaphysics still exists. Basically, theoretically, they don't have as much power right now for some reason. So again, I stopped all overhead lifting, but they did that thing where they were running me around and I was moving and that destroyed my back. Like I was overhead lifting. I didn't, again, they blinded me. Yeah, I'm not walking outside. And even though I have long underwear and everything, just not, I'm just not into it today, into the cold weather. But if I bundled up, I'm sure I'd have been fine. I think because it's a little more humid, so it's a little more bone chilling. So yeah, I was reminded of the wheat because I have an extra aromatizer because it didn't work with the arc. I bought a round one instead of that long one. So the maintenance guy has a new apartment here, so I wanted to give him something for Christmas, and he's closer to living by me now, and he wanted a bigger apartment. He got it, and so I gave him that, but it has like wheat on it, so the LED lights up the wheat. So that started like about 6 months ago. Started showing up, Joseph and the wheat. I think Joseph showed up first. the tribe of Joseph, I think. So theoretically, I didn't want to say anything before the election was over. But theoretically, we're looking at 7 years of plenty, but I think we need to really focus to get it. Well, I'd love it if that ablation would just solve the problem. Now, when she totally released my back in massage, the left side felt like it was going to kink the nerve. Like I could feel a little dink, dink, dink. But then again, who knows what the end result of ablation is? Right? I may have been too released at that point. And again, anytime your muscles are cramped like that for an extended period of time, so you have to regain the strength. But the surgeon that I was gonna use up north, I asked him about it, and he said, "Well, pretty much as soon as the surgery's done with, your legs are back that fast. I mean, unless there's something horrific." Right. He says, once you unpinch that nerve, and then, they saw that the nerve was pinched on I did an electric test of some sorts. But I was so sick because my hips and everything were so tight. That's what did it, I think, to a certain degree, right? Where hips were so tight that the, it's just there was no way for me to figure out which way to go with any of it. But again, my hips needed to be released before I would do the surgery, or the surgery wouldn't make sense, right? Because that wasn't part of that. It just was just everything had tightened up. So again, we'll see where this takes me. Just wish they'd have left me in massage because I would never have had this much damage. I mean, I did say I'm healing uh, towards the end of it. So maybe they said, well, we'll just put him out now. He said he's healed. But again, something like that doesn't heal. Right? Obviously, it was BS. Every day I go in there, there's a black guy in the office. Theoretically, he's the owner. I didn't know that at the time. He would come to the front of his office and stare at me every time I came in. And then right before they canceled the membership, one of their massage therapist or an agent. I don't know who it is. Again, he could even be an agent. Um, stalked me at Walmart. So again, they wanted me to see that. And she said this thing, massage yourself. But it's funny because I'm massaging myself now, but it's 10 years later, and I had no clue how to massage myself. Like not when they canceled, but before they canceled it. The last time I saw her, she's like, "Well, you know, make sure you miss." She told me to buy a roller and massage myself. And again, I'm much more my issues are much more technical than that. So like right now, my right side is still tighter than it needs to be. So I was so close to the ablation, whatever they call it, and I just couldn't get to it. I had an appointment to do the injections, or yeah, they test with an injection before they cauterize the nerve or radio wave the nerve or ablate the nerve, I guess. Again, when they're stalking you, you don't see these things, and they're causing panic attacks, which will tighten you up also. Has nothing to do with committing crimes. People have tortured me for 30 years. Well, if the surgery is what's needed, I'll be glad to get the surgery. Hopefully, it works. I'm beginning to believe this is what my wife needed. My ex-wife, when she had the accident, she probably had something wrong with her spine that made everything tighten up. Right. 'Cause she laid around because of the accident, and I think she tightened up. Right. No, my surgeon was a good surgeon, he just wasn't the other surgeon that was that I would somebody hooked me up. The scheduler or lady or but see, when it's back surgery, it's a little bit different process. You get to know the scheduler a little bit more, and they talk things over with you. So she gave me, like, the genius. And then the genius didn't wanna do it. So I got this other guy, and he did have a ding on him, but I think the dude just didn't I think there was something else wrong. Again, the idea of having other tissue that needed to be released. So when you get the surgery, once it healed, you should make sure you get in for massage therapy. Well, he said he felt like the vertebrae was not straight, was crooked. I don't. I mean, I don't know if that's possible. But what he's probably feeling is something still tight, right? Because he was off kilter the whole time. So he has to go and get, physical therapy and massage to release all the tissues. The tissues aren't necessarily going to release just because the nerves calm down because they sometimes you have I forget what they call them when the nerves stick together and right, or the tissues stick together. Like when I was in Colorado, I was laying in bed and I was on my side and I moved a certain way and I felt all my tissues starting to come apart, where they had been crunched before. So at that point, I got a little bit better. So like right now, I'm just kind of walking and talking. My right side of my body just tightened up enough so I can tell it's not as bilateral. But yet up here on my face and on my neck, I can feel that tightness. But I don't think anything in my neck would trigger that. I think that's still that lower back. Right. So again, I'm here from God. I wish I could have had a good life. I wish they hadn't done this to me. I wish in Amarillo I could have got to where I could have got to. But again, the curses are real. The psychological operation is real, but it's actually physical torture because they're pinging your neurology. So they know there's a damage that they're causing. So I got a washing cup coming for, I got to get the arc done. I did some work on it yesterday. No, I do talk. I do speak with spirits, but again, not every spirit I speak with is going to be a real, an honest spirit. Right? Satan's there. Again, Satan exists. There are physical things going on, but the spirit wanted me to know beyond anything this morning that no matter what transpired, the seeing part is still real. Because it's funny. I forget what it was. I go, see, it's a woman. I don't know. Well, because what did I see? I saw something like heart, love, and I'm like, somebody from my childhood? And they're like, no. So the narrative picks up that there were women along the way that were real. They just, they killed it and they're dead. That's all I really needed. And then the rest would have worked. Now I'm not going to, well, I'll take it back. If they fix all my neurological stuff, I'll go to church and say, hey, yeah, like over at Unity, probably. I'd love to live over there. That was my goal. I don't know why I couldn't get to it. Again, the curses. Right. Oh, so Unity is praying for me, so I'm discovering a lot of things that are wrong. Like I couldn't even get to that point. But again, I woke up first because I remembered to call Unity and all the other stuff. But I couldn't even call. That just shows you I couldn't even call Unity prayer line. Well, massage could actually correct a portion of this, correct. And, God Hashem has already said, if you need to make a 2,000, again, the angels are with Hashem and some other spirits, and they said, "If you need to make a $2,000 bill, just do it. If you gotta do a debt consolidation, just do it. It's not worth worrying about." Right, they put this worry of money in me that, I usually don't have, right? That's what it's like I think it's, like, based upon a panic attack. But again, I was fine. They came along and I healed after I left the government, and they re-injured me each time. Thank you, bro. Well, I'm still a human, you know what I mean? I still have emotions, so even though I know about the afterlife and all that, don't forget to kiss the mezuzah. They blocked me from kissing the mezuzah. I walk in my house, forget it, the mezuzah. So yeah, I gave the maintenance guy the other aromatizer. I'm like, I got to get rid of this, and he just set up a humidifier, a small one, so this will help with that. So again, let's just focus on doing well. You do need to find the real deep state, the one I'm speaking about. Now they shouldn't have been allowed to do it. I mean, I couldn't even get anywhere. Like my back is slowly retightening now. I have to massage myself again, but it's not so bad. So maybe it was because my mind's somewhere else. Some of it may have been a panic attack along with everything. So they trashed me, man. It's like a prisoner of war camp. They know what they're doing. Just sucks that I couldn't get to the ablation. And then when I was moving into my apartment in Oklahoma, the woman spoke about ablation, that she did it and it worked. And I just couldn't get past whatever was blocking me to give it a try. Again, the woman that told me I don't want to move in, essentially because there's black people. But she did say that word. I'm like, well, I don't suffer from that malady. But again, if there's dope dealing, that's I have to be careful because they could get paranoid. Trying to work on a project here. Well, I'm waking up, so now I'm shocked. And then also I was way too tight. I was even sleeping last night, I was way too tight. Right. That's why I bought the new mattress to see if that would work. And I think it did work for a couple nights. No, I mean it's highly actually genocidal to do what they're doing. So if they're doing that to people, they could end up, I have a strong sense of right and wrong to a certain degree. Right. So you're not going to get me to do that stuff unless I totally, blank out and lose my mind. Last thing I want to be is disabled and in prison, right? I mean, it's tough enough when you're well, Trump goes hard every so often because I think he gets irritated, but he has to be careful. Again, Elon too, because the mandate makes it's a great talking point, but it doesn't really exist. What you have is individual mandates, and those individual mandates don't translate to the platform, the total platform. So you have to like not offend while giving them their little piece of the pie. So in some cases, actually, some of the people, part of the platform, actually offends some of them, right? So, well, I mean, 2 years would be max, right? I don't know if Trump really cares, but you don't want people going to prison, and that's what I'm getting at. Always remember that. I mean, you've been lucky, but that's how Satan works, right? You've been lucky, and then boom. You know, well, because it doesn't matter what kind of friends you make in the Democratic Party over the next few years, trying to get things done. There's always going to be a deep state or somewhere trying to make a name for themselves. No, now thinking back, I did see that the surgery was going to be successful, but I was still totally crunched. So I'm calling these surgeons, and I'm totally crunched now. Their luck and my luck might be such that I have to figure it out first before I go for surgery, so that the surgery would be successful. Right. Yeah, I don't see that. It was a major, big hospital up north known for this type of surgery. Right. Was I did look at University of Pennsylvania, but I was a little. It was a son of a Sikh family, and I was just nervous about that Yogi Bhajan thing. They treated me pretty poorly there. So I did have actually a surgeon, what was his name? A Khalsa surgeon, but he wasn't Khalsa. He was just, I don't know what he practices, but it was he's next generation. So I did have a University of Pennsylvania orthopedic surgeon willing to do the work. Now he wasn't going to fuse the spine. He said he was just going to go in and clean it out. But I had other people say that they believe that why that it's not going to last forever. Why maybe have to do it again later. Right. And in a certain way, it just depends 6 to 1 after that, but it's generally easier to fuse it. Once you start manipulating, trying to go in and clean it, you could actually create more trouble. I think what happened to the guy that was in the wheelchair is that they didn't clean out all the bone fragments, and it theoretically messed up his nerve. That's what they said. Who knows what really happened? Right? Doctor was hungover or something, but it was horrible. I prayed for him, and I was so sick. Maybe oblation will work. If that works, I'll be praising the Lord. I'll praise the Lord anyway. But right, and we all have to go at some point. But I'd hate to spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. And I do believe this may be one of the answers as to what causes dementia. I believe maybe it's orthopedic related. Could be orthopedic related. So if we actually gave massage to people with dementia, they might come back a little better. Thank you, sir. I'll have to write that to somebody. Find somebody online. Tell them, hey, try this. Well, I've been receiving a lot of information related to that in my social media feeds. So that tells me something's searching. Again, I'm hoping there's nothing wrong in my neck. But again, I spoke to somebody. See, that's what's weird. Obviously they operate, okay? Obviously, the cutout of Trump on the that they put on my vehicle when I was moving from Indiana. Oh, they were attacking me for supporting Trump all those years. What they did is I left my van running because I had a trailer and all, so I had to hook up, and I was moving that day, and they had been already hitting me, right, and breaking in and all that stuff. So they opened my driver's door and put my turn signal on, and on the back of my vehicle, just above the bumper, I think it was, or I don't remember where they actually put it. They put a cutout of Trump, and I forget what it said or whatever it was exactly, but No, I gotta play it like I gotta play it, whatever way Hashem tells me to play it, so it's all done a certain way, and so, yeah, my neck is really starting to tighten up. So if I coulda got this undone, at least to this point back then, I could have made better decisions, but again, I got the deep state trying to kill me the whole time, trying to trick me into committing a crime. I mean, we're not supposed to have to worry. Citizens are not supposed to have to worry about this kind of stuff, right? No, this thing doesn't work right, but I'll leave it on there for now. I'm putting the legs on my lion legs on my little square incense burner thing. You'll see it later. So the big, it's ritual washing hands. It's not obviously you need to still wash your hands, but you have a cup and you pour it over your hands. I can feel my body's already starting to cinch up. This one may not work. I have to clean a burr off of it. I'll do that one later. I'll have to find another one of these legs. And I got to clean up my apartment. I got so much to do. Nah, this is obviously criminal behavior what they've engaged in against me. And again, they're blocking it from being seen at times. Some of these people work for social media or have contacts in social media. So again, what happens is your lower spine starts sending messages that that you're falling or something like that to the brain, and then it tightens up. There's two nerves, one on each side in the lower vertebrae. This is something I probably should have got like 10 years ago, and I probably would have been fine. Right. For sure. Oh, got no idea where that thing went. I'm just hoping there's nothing in my neck triggering it. And again, it wasn't really this bad. Like a week. It was just strange. Like I'm totally looser than I've been, relaxed. I go in, my blood pressure's fine. Right. So I was a little concerned that they were like playing me on my blood pressure. And then when I thought about it, I said, well, I felt pretty relaxed and I felt, I was walking okay and I was going to get surgery. Right. And all of a sudden I'm tight again. Mm. And that probably shot my blood because the next time I took my blood pressure, it was crazy. Now, I'm thinking that's what happened. Again, these are hypotheses. Anything could be possible. But I'm back into losing weight and just not sure what that's going to do. But they have goals of me gaining weight, not walking, not talking to people, people hating me. I mean, it's serious crime. Cursing me, I could feel it. See, my back's getting screwed up, but I'm also being cursed at the same time. Yeah, it's just screwed up. The glue on this, too much glue on it. Yeah, they're messing around. Looks like it's good though. Yeah, so I think some of it's panic attack when my body tightens up. I don't even know, right? How much they, operated until recently, and then I figured out that they're blocking me. I wish the sun was out today, but I guess pretty soon we're gonna have 50-degree weather, and it'll be a little rainy at first, and then I guess the sun comes out. And then the thing is, as soon as you hit January 1st, you're already on the other side of the shortest day. So every month the days get longer and it gets warmer. So neat thing with Kansas, generally it gets was last year before January 1st. It usually doesn't get real cold till January 1st, and who knows if it will this year, without, some nice days in there. Well, I remember working on the grass. Oh, I didn't have any like serious nerve pings. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened. Right. Because I was down on my knees putting not mulch. I did eventually put a little bit of mulch, but soil and everything. I had no problems doing that. Right. But again, I was doing magnesium baths and other things. I got out of that. Yeah, and they will against it. So yeah, the grass grew in real nice up on this section over here. It's going to need to grow over there next spring. There's a lot of seed in there. It'll probably grow next spring, unless it's this other grass and it moves through into it. But this spring, this fall, I had to regrade it essentially, because when they planted the trees back 20, I guess 30, 40 years ago, whenever they built this place, they were too high in the ground. So over time, the root system grew up, and it caused the grading to be wrong for the patio. But now it grades away from the patio, and it actually rolls down towards where the spout is from the gutter. Right. So I did all that, and I didn't even have any problem. I mean, I was tight, but not this tight. Right. So again, whatever it is, it is. I'm just going to have to go through it, and you know, hopefully, their goal is to destroy all my discs. I'm sure of it. 100%. So again, this thing's finished, I guess. So again, there's a metaphysical part of it and a physical part of it. So when you have these injuries, the curses that they curse you to will play out easier. So yeah, the spirits already did say, if you need to get massage, then get massage. Don't worry about the debt. You'll work that out with God in the long run. Now, if they paid me, that'd be great. It'd probably be great for them too. All right. So what God's trying to do here, I'm trying to gauge what's happening in my back and what I was feeling with these panic things. Was it pinging neurology, or was I just panicking because I was tightening? Like, I couldn't even panic over tightening. I just didn't even care. I'm not like that. But I panic when I try to think of an appointment. So again, they had tortured me around doctor's appointments, around massage therapy. So my panic attacks were generally related to that. So part of probably when I couldn't remember names and stuff, I'm too tight. Right? As soon as I loosen up, then I can remember all that. Well, I need medicine. I need you to get away from me. You're causing a need for medicine, all of you. You all need medicine because of what you did to me. Now you made money. Okay, big deal. Oh, there goes the fire alarm. I just put some. I just lit some incense for the altar. Now I got to glue it on the other one. There it goes. It shut up already. Okay. So hopefully, I mean, even steroid treatment could actually, with the massage, could have fixed it. I'm sure. It's just I have no idea why the steroid treatment didn't work. I have no idea. I mean, I didn't really find anything working with it. And then I did even do massage in Amarillo, but maybe it was just too much too soon. I don't know, but I wish I could have thought of it when I went to Oklahoma so I could just at least try something right in that period of time. Now, towards the end, I remember that side over there tightening a little bit before I went to Kansas. But when I got to Kansas, I remember being really well because I was able to move all that stuff. I can't do that right now. In Oklahoma, I didn't have to pay for heat and the water. So I would, I could take as many hot baths as I wanted and extend it stay the same way. Here, I got to pay for it. I even turned the AC on the heater on this morning, the central. I usually just use my uh, radiators. For some reason, I needed it this morning. But once I got going and everything got relaxed in my muscles, I was fine. My circulation got going. So again, it's like right around the jaw and that area going down into the neck. There's some, probably connective tissues and things. Sometimes I wonder if it's just my connective tissues tighten, getting too tight, like a tendonitis type of thing. Yeah, I can feel it all the way down in my rotator cuff and everything. Like the whatever tissue that is, it needs to be elongated. So again, if they had never done this to me in life and let me stay in massage, I probably would still be fine. I would have some damage, but just mild amount. And of course, I'd have stayed in Santa Fe. Yeah, I just don't feel like walking outside today. If the sun was out, it'd be perfect. With this, it's like 40 something. It'd probably be 45 at least. You have the sun on you. I don't know what tonight's going to be like. I didn't sleep much last night. I turned in a few, or actually a couple posts. Well, because again, it's the same idea where the one was. So again, if people are into a certain type of sexuality, let's say S&M or something like that, There's no problem with that. But the wording in the post gets a little too aggressive and suggestive. Well, the question is, what happens when just a neutral person sees that wording? So again, I don't know if they blocked it or not. It's just I never saw it that way before, and I'm starting to see it that way. There's also this one image that I turned in before showed up again. Looks like a kid to me, like a teen trend. It could be even AI. I don't know, but to me, it looks like a teenage trans person porn, which would make it illegal child porn. And it was like pushback trying to turn it in. My computer my device went crazy. I had to try twice or three times to get through the first part of the menu. But I hate that I can't lay down without my back tightening up, so I'm not sure. I just wish I could have got to this point sooner. I mean, even if you're a healthy person, it's hard to make decisions while they're doing this to you. Again, there's nothing I can do to stop it. They'll just say something in my life and say that's why they're doing it. Like I forgot to do the other side now. Right, corticosteroid might be able to calm these tissues down. And like I can bide my time. That's the point. I'm like, oh, I was well enough to bide my time with these treatments, right? And I didn't think to do that. Yeah, I like my hotel room in Dallas. I went there. I was sick as hell. While I was there, I started getting well. They showed up again, and I was sick. Like I got sick, and they showed up before, like right as I was getting sick. It was bizarre. It wasn't like their stress caused me to get sick, unless again the idea of the socks in the laundry. I may not have seen them, or there could have been a drug on there. That's my point. I mean, these people are nasty people, and they're not the big protectors they pretend to be. So we'll see. Again, physical therapy being physical therapy, massage, ablation, and corticosteroid. Those are probably what I should try before I do any type of surgery. Right. It just was so crazy in Amarillo. And if I had time to settle in, I might, never have left. I might have went some doctor stuff there. And the Satan stance at a minimum. So the guy that had surgery that was all screwed up, the surgery was Dallas. So I'm in Dallas, and I got to go see doctors. So again, uh, when they do this to you, your life is wired to drive you crazy, and they're actually also doing it physically. So I cut my 2x4 a little short. I mean, Satan was into it. And you should have waited tomorrow. You shouldn't have did it today. And then, like, God got through and said, all you got to do, or maybe it was Jesus the carpenter, said, all you got to do, because the way you're doing this, is cut it in the middle and push it out to the ends, and you'll have like a 16th of an inch gap in the middle, but it won't matter. Right? It's like skids that it's going to ride on. I want it to be right out to the edge, there's other ways to do it too, but that's probably the simplest. Because I'm going to put molding, like a skirt. It's like a skirt around. I'm going to put a molding skirt around the bottom, and this is a 2x4 that's going to be used as a skid and to raise it up an inch and a half. Or I'd have to go buy another one of these from Lowe's because they're different sizes than my other 2x4s, like the width, the height. that would be actually it's the 2x4s are considered the other direction, but I'm laying them flat. It just didn't look good that close to the ground. I had an inch and a half of board, thick board, but I need 3 inches for it to look okay. And I ordered some molding from Lowe's to go around it, Dublin leaves. So it's interesting how I'm gonna do it. And it should work. And there's going to be a piece of wood in the middle connecting those two anyway. Actually, it won't because that one's going to be on the back side. If they gave me my money, it'd be no problem. I'd leave. I'd probably go find some other place to live. I'd be able to hire people to move my stuff, and I wouldn't have to do it. It looked like that photo came up twice, but it was just really confusing when it came up. I'm like, what? I found one of them and I reported it. It may have been the same photo, came up 2 different times. I looked at it because, like, Satan's like, "Well, that's not a kid." I looked at it, not at length, but long enough to say that looks too much like somebody that's like 16 or under. I mean, I could be wrong, but agreed there. Now, I don't hate transgender teens, but what I was the first person. Why am I always the first? I guess Hashem tells me. I told you to be careful about the transgender teen thing because of the parents. Because parents, they get caught up in something. I mean, just think of the what we see in baseball and football parents. Again, you don't have to just attack people that are interested in transgender stuff or not. Right? But if you think of people in football team, some of the crazy stuff. I mean, we got. I think sometimes they murder the cheerleader, that kind of stuff. So you think about parents having that mindset, then you can imagine what could happen with the transgender team. So I was probably the first. I think I was the first person. I said, "Don't worry about the adult transgender too much." I said, "What you need to focus on is what's going on with transgender teens because parents don't always, are not always honest." Well, again, what is one of the greatest influences on teen suicide? Let's just neutralize it. Again, the idea of real psychology and sociology. Peer pressure, uh, bullies. Correct. So when we look at why somebody might commit suicide when they can't be trans like the way they want to be, it could be peer pressure. Now these are real things. There's people that spell young people to be trans. I get spelled to be trans, and I kill the thing. After I investigate it, I kill it. Well, because it's trying to alter me somewhere I don't want to go. Thank you. So that's what I'll do is when I detect that kind of thing, I'll go online, look at porn and stuff like that related to all of that because I want to see what the next move is. If it is, it could just be you could actually trigger metaphysics, but sometimes or not sometimes. I know I did trigger physical movement off of doing that. So they figured, okay, this person's now responding to what we're trying to do. And then they do something else. And then you'll watch the pressure appear and disappear based upon whether you go and look at porn or something like that. So because I'm having trouble, I'm trying to see could it be related to that. Like if I look at porn, then my health gets better. There's a lot, I've taught a lot of. I don't know who hears my stuff, but whoever does has learned a lot of metaphysics. Some people poo-poo it, but some people have learned a lot of metaphysics. I wish I could just get well enough to start all my healing stuff again. Hashem won't let me. Well, I mean, it heals stuff, but I mean, I really was digging that what do we call it? The horror house thing. We were kids were getting out of the horror house scenarios, and women. I think one in Kansas City or nearby. But I just Hashem won't let me, and I think it's because I'm so far down. And Hashem shows me an apartment. I couldn't even clean. I was under a spell. My body ached, a pinched nerve or whatever it was. So I have a spirit with me now, and it says, remember, every day when you're walking around your apartment, grab something, throw it away. Get rid of all your excess. That's what I started doing, get rid of my excess. Now, they want me to get rid of everything. They want me to they want a repeat of Amarillo or of Tyler. That's what they're hoping for, that I run off and get rid of everything. So they may have drugged me to tighten me up like this. So some of my intuition is coming back, like working for my life. Like I wanted magnesium. Like last night, I'm like, I need magnesium. I didn't take the bath, and then I had purchased a lot of cottage cheese, and it's high in magnesium. So again, I could have knots and stuff in my muscles that once they're worked out, some of this disappears. But again, I don't know if I found any massage therapist that I really want to see. I'm not canceling my membership over there. I'm going to let it go at least another month. But I don't know. It's just it's not them actually as much as it's the system. Massage Envy had a different system, and it just felt like home. And for them to have done what they did to me, that's horrible. Now my body's tightening up again, but I'm not having that panic feeling. But I think it's a panic attack because I'm turning my neck and I'm feeling it, but I'm like, is it me or is it? Okay, I see. Okay, I see. Right. So it's just still the muscles. Right. Hopefully, it didn't cause more damage. I mean, I can't even imagine that I tried to uncramp myself and I was unsuccessful. So I think I just got discouraged. And again, I can hear it now. I can actually sense it where they're actually projecting at me, trying to make me discouraged. I couldn't hear it. It just was happening. They were that anti-powerful. No, I feel confident in the surgeons now. It was crazy. Like when I was in Amarillo, my legs were just shit. I mean, complete shit. I couldn't even walk up a pair of stairs without, it was like almost not impossible, but it was an effort. And of course, but the weird thing is, if they are drugging me, when I went to my extended stay, I ran up the steps, and like within a few days, I wasn't feeling good. So I don't know. So again, I've just started massage. They released me completely, it felt like at one point, and I did some stuff to myself to release it, and it felt like that left nerve was pinging. The left, because there's a bone spur or what do they call that? There's an issue on a spondylitis or whatever on that left side. So the guy that was Khalsa said he's just going to go in and clean it out. Everybody else said they were going to fuse it. I kind of wish I'd have been able to stick with it, like in the other places, to see. Again, I couldn't even figure out that all I had to do was massage my neck, because I actually told them about it. Because something said right here. Now keep going. Again, this should not happen to anybody. So I'm going to get off here because it's over an hour. And for some reason on X, you can't see my stuff now. You can't see the image. It's not like X Live. So that's kind of discouraging. I have to go through the whole thing of downloading it and uploading it. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do.